He walked into the bank dressed in his best suit, carrying a folder filled with million-dollar contracts. But instead of being treated like a valued client, he was forced to sit and wait. 1 hour passed, then another. While others were welcomed with smiles, he was ignored, judged, and dismissed by the manager herself. What she didn't know was that the man she was humiliating wasn't just any customer. He was the very person her bosses had been waiting to meet. And when the board members finally walked in, her world came crashing down. 2 hours. That's how long he had been sitting there. Marcus adjusted his tie for the third time. The silk now creased from his nervous fingers. His eyes kept darting toward the giant clock above the bank's glass doors. Tick, tick, tick. Every second reminded him of time wasted. Every minute felt like a test of his patience. But Marcus wasn't just any man waiting for a meeting. He was a self-made entrepreneur, a man who had clawed his way up from nothing to build one of the fastest-growing logistics companies in the region. What had started with a single truck and his determination had now grown into a fleet that delivered across states. Today was supposed to be his next big step, a chance to secure a major investment from the bank that would expand his company to new heights. He had come well prepared. Neatly bound files, detailed contracts, and a clear vision for the future rested in his briefcase. Everything about him said professional. Everything about his plan screamed ready. All he needed was a fair chance. But the moment Marcus walked into the branch, he had felt it. The unspoken tension in the air. The bank manager, Ms. Thompson, had greeted him with a cold, sharp glance that lingered too long. Her eyes scanned him from head to toe, not with curiosity but with judgment. She forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes, told him to sit down and said, "Someone will be with you shortly." That shortly had turned into an hour, then another. During that time, Marcus had watched countless others walk in. A group of businessmen in crisp suits. They were greeted immediately and ushered into private offices. A family with children? They were guided with patience and smiles. Even a nervous young man, clearly opening his first account, had been treated with more warmth and attention than Marcus. But Marcus? He was still waiting. No one called his name. No one asked for his documents. He might as well have been invisible. The only acknowledgement he received were the occasional suspicious glances from Ms. Thompson, as though his very presence in the bank was out of place. He shifted in his seat, inhaling deeply. Marcus had faced harder struggles than this. He had grown up in neighborhoods where opportunities were scarce, where every success required 10 times the effort. He had fought through skepticism before. But sitting in that bank, the frustration was different. It wasn't about money anymore. It was about dignity, respect. And deep down, Marcus knew something was about to happen, something that would change the room, and maybe even change his life. Finally, Marcus stood. His patience had stretched to the breaking point, and he knew he couldn't sit silently any longer. Straightening his shoulders, he walked toward the front desk where Ms. Thompson sat, her eyes glued to her computer screen as though he didn't exist. "Excuse me, ma'am," Marcus said, his voice steady but firm. "I've been waiting for 2 hours now. I had an appointment scheduled." Ms. Thompson looked up at him slowly, as if the mere act of being addressed by him was an inconvenience. Her expression hardened and her words came out sharp, clipped. "Sir, I told you, we're busy. You'll be seen when we're ready. Please sit back down." The dismissive tone struck like a slap. For a moment, Marcus just stood there, collecting himself. He refused to let anger control him. Taking a calm breath, he tried once more, this time keeping his voice measured but resolute. "With respect," he said, glancing at the clock on the wall, "I had an appointment at 10 a.m. It's now almost noon. Could you please confirm if the loan officer or the board is even available?" Ms. Thompson leaned forward across the counter, lowering her voice so only Marcus could hear. Her eyes narrowed. "Listen, sir," she said coldly. "People walk in here all the time with big ideas and stacks of paper in their hands. But this is a serious bank. We don't waste time unless we know it's worth it. Now, if you'll kindly wait, someone will eventually speak with you." Her words burned. She hadn't bothered to ask his name. She hadn't even glanced at his documents. To her, he wasn't a client. He wasn't a businessman. He wasn't even worth basic courtesy. Marcus understood in that moment. It wasn't about the bank being busy. It was about her assumptions. She had judged him the moment he walked through the door. judged him by the color of his skin, by the way she thought success should look, by the simple fact that she didn't believe he belonged there. A few nearby customers shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension. One man even raised his eyebrows, watching closely. Marcus, however, only nodded. He clenched his jaw, but his composure remained intact. He turned away without another word and returned to his seat, refusing to give her the outburst she seemed to expect. Behind him, Ms. Thompson smirked faintly, her fingers returning to the keyboard as if she had put him back in his place. But then, just as Marcus sat down, the bank's glass doors swung open. A group walked in, and in that instant, everything changed. A group of sharply dressed individuals walked in, men and women in tailored suits, carrying sleek briefcases and exuding authority with every step. Their polished shoes clicked against the marble floor, and their quiet confidence filled the room before they even spoke. The energy inside the bank shifted instantly. Employees who had been casually chatting or typing suddenly snapped to attention. They rushed forward, eager smiles plastered across their faces, desperate to make a good impression. Everyone knew who these people were. These were the bank's board members. Ms. Thompson, who only moments ago had been smirking at Marcus, immediately straightened in her chair. She smoothed her blazer, fixed her hair, and put on a bright, sugary smile. In an instant, her cold demeanor melted into false warmth. She hurried forward, extending her hand to each board member in turn. "Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. It's such an honor to have you here," she gushed, her voice dripping with exaggerated sweetness. But then something unexpected happened. One of the board members, a tall man with silver hair, scanned the lobby. His eyes landed on Marcus, and the stern formality in his face softened instantly into a broad smile. "Marcus!" the man exclaimed, striding over with an outstretched hand. "So good to see you again. We've been looking forward to this meeting." The entire room froze. Conversation stopped. Every customer turned their head. Ms. Thompson's smile faltered, then vanished altogether. She stood frozen, her hand still extended toward no one, her face draining of color. Marcus rose calmly, shaking hands with the board member. His voice was polite, but there was a subtle edge to it. "I've been waiting," he said simply. The board member's expression darkened. "Waiting for what?" "You're our priority today. Your company's proposal is exactly what we need to move forward. Let's head straight to the conference room." Another board member, a woman in a navy suit, joined in, patting Marcus on the shoulder. "We've heard incredible things about your logistics network. It could change everything for us. Let's not waste another moment." In an instant, Marcus was surrounded, guided with respect and eagerness into the private meeting room. Meanwhile, Miss Thompson stood rooted to the floor. Her wide eyes followed Marcus as he passed, and in them was the unmistakable look of someone realizing their biggest mistake. Marcus didn't gloat. He didn't need to. As he walked past her, he met her gaze briefly. His silence spoke louder than words ever could. By the end of that day, Marcus left the bank with more than just a signed agreement and millions approved for expansion. He left with respect, dignity, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing he had risen above her prejudice. As for Ms. Thompson, the board had witnessed everything. In the world of banking, reputation is everything, and hers had just crumbled. Her face had changed when the board walked in. But no, respect is earned, not demanded, and today, Marcus proved that patience and dignity speak louder than prejudice. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories just like this one. Until next time, thanks for watching.